authorized to take part in the discussion on the budget presented by the Honorable Chief Minister. And I would like to thank the Leader of the House, the Chief Minister, to you, sir, for presenting a very detailed and unique budget estimate this year. For the last 15 years, every financial year or every budget session that we used to have, budgets after budgets have been presented in the House, and with a lot of efforts that governments after governments are putting to see that those concerns are being addressed and action being taken by them. There are a lot of points which always come up during the budget discussion. And also in the form of motions, resolutions, call attention, and so on. Points that always been mentioned are related to the departments of like the health, the power, the education, PWD, PHC, and so on. Sir, but I would like to, understanding the paucity of time, I would like to just be brief in my submission. Coming to the law and order with regards to the safety and security of the people of the state. We have witnessed even during this session also that there are, even today, there are call attention, there are short duration discussion with regards to the safety and security of the people in the border areas. I have to place on record my sincere thanks to the government of the MDA-1 for taking the initiatives with the goal how to solve the very long pending issue of the boundary dispute. For decades and decades, many governments have made an attempt to solve this issue, but many governments also could not succeed for various reasons. I would like to thank the Honorable Chief Minister that in the year 2018 to 2022, different meetings have taken place along with the counterpart Chief Minister to sort out this long pending issues. And in the first phase, the MOU has been agreed upon, signed between the two states, between the Meghalaya government of Meghalaya and the government of Assam. And we understand that the MOU has reached to its level because of good understanding and good initiatives taken by both governments. And we understood that since the MOU have been signed and agreed, it is also to be noted that the good understanding between the governments prevails in this last time. But sir, I would like to mention here that every now and then, these kind of activities which are happening in the borders, especially like we witnessed the loss of 5 innocent lives at Mokro and other incidences which has taken place, could have been avoided, sir. Therefore, I suggest that the government should hold again the meetings with the counterpart of Assam to discuss regarding these issues of the people living in that area, because the safety and security of the people of that area do look up to the governments to protect and give them the security in those areas. So I would like to mention here that in this 23-24, the union budget allocation, we have seen that the Ministry of Defense has been allocated with 13.18% of the total budget. Therefore, I urge the government here that in order to strengthen the border outposts set up already in Mukro and other areas, be also well equipped by providing good amount of funds to the Home Department that looks after the safety and security of the people. Sir, coming to social security and welfare, I also do urge that the government of the day for special budget allocation for the current financial year reflect that the government should focus and to step up the fight against drug abuse. It is our responsibility as legislators, sir, to give special attention to this issue, which is already one of the talking points in almost all the villages and towns of the state. And I urge that the government should identify high-risk districts to increase community participation, which is very, very important. Without the participation of the community and public cooperation through different programs, including in community-based peer-led intervention for early drug use prevention among adolescents and youth, and outreach and drop-in centers. The government, therefore, should conduct a survey in the district headquarters to assess the pattern and profile of substance use among schools and college students, and to stress on special campaigns target at vulnerable groups like school children and youth to create deterrence and awareness. Sir, in every setup of a government, we live in a society, and we have always flourished because we live together in communities. In government, which is an institution or a system that was made to take care or to manage a state, we have to set a fundamental principle to ensure effective governance. And now, when we say governance, what does this entail? How does it work? Once appointed as form, the government is responsible for the social welfare, the law and order, the health care, the well-being, education, and financial affairs of the state. Our responsibility when we are in the government is to ensure the security of the people through the means of an effective legislation. In addition to the effective legislation and providing amenities and infrastructure as a government, we must effectively manage the state's economy, and we in the governance should also ensure that it's all done efficiently so that the people can make the most of it. However, as a member of this August House, an MLA in this government, I urge the Leader of the House to take steps to protect the environment from further neglect. So we should not only walk in words, but it's time for us to strengthen and support the district councils. When I've seen in the budget that the 3 district councils are the key stakeholders in the overall development journey of the state. We should also, not only in terms of grants, but to endow them with more power so that they can preserve the identity and culture of our people. Empower them to prepare plans in different areas. So I'm glad to learn that the Chief Minister in charge of finance is committed to improve the education sector in this entire state. I have a few of my submissions, sir, through you, Mr. Speaker, sir, on this very important sector. In the last 5 years, the state had faced as many agitations from the teaching community, which has affected the students at large. As a concern towards this issue, while referring to point 8.7, I would like to urge the Chief Minister to set a time frame for clearing the dues and disburse the salaries on time for the teachers, and the same for scholarship disbursements to the students of our state as well. Sir, in education there are few colleges, even in my own constituency also, who are run by community or mission college, as they've been from time to time seeking for some grant in aid from the state government. I urge that the government be kept with some funds to be provided to these colleges, as they are very well-performing colleges, so that it will enable them to avail different schemes from other sources like the UGC and so on. So in addition to my appeal to the government to also take steps to protect the environment from further neglect, I am concerned of the global warming issue, which has become an undisputed fact. We may say the changing weather patterns that we are facing, which is more at health risk, natural calamities, which we have witnessed from year to year, untimely rain, and so on. So therefore, once again, I do appeal to you, sir, that government should make every effort in sensitizing the public and to take measures on eliminating of single-use plastics and to work on adequate production for the alternatives and to continue focusing on sewage and solid waste management. Sir, without taking much time, to set aside special funds on continuous efforts to support the brilliant young generation. And we have plenty of brilliant students in our state. In preparing for the All India Service and other central service examinations, government should step in to provide the support to these brilliant students. As we have a lot of brilliant students in our state, but since the family background comes from a very, very poor, so they have to give up and could not proceed further with their ambition. Sir, in improving health system, to you, Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm going to wind up. On this sector, I urge that we should upgrade the healthcare sectors with better equipment at major government health institutions and district headquarter hospitals. Sir, why I'm mentioning this is because in many of the cases, the patients have been referred to private hospitals for testing since the equipments are not available, and in some cases equipments are available but are not working. So like in the case of CT scan, ultrasound, MRI and so on. So these are very, very important few submissions that I would like to place before the government, through you, sir, so that the health care system be provided with more equipments to cater to the need of the people of our state. Sir, to conclude, I would like to mention here, in order to create a dedicated funds for the information and public relation and to take care of the fourth pillar of democracy, media can be considered as a two-sided weapon, as an accountable media and an accountable media. But in this age of social media, it is the duty of the government of the day to support the accountable media as they use to aware the public about various social, political and economic activities, and they are being trusted by everyone, and people always trust actual and honest news. Through your chair, Speaker, sir, I urge upon the government to look into the problems of the media house. Last but not the least, sir, I would like to mention here about the time taken for completion of different projects, especially in roads. I am to mention here that this has caused a lot of inconvenience to the public at large. So I am just to make one small example, like the Maumaram to Maulandep and Damsite road. This road has caused a lot of inconvenience to the people living in those areas. Quite good number of villages, sir. And another which we are witness on a daily basis, for me being representative from the West Caucasus, where we have to cross the Umshirpi, Shillong, 3rd mile, 4th mile, 5th mile, 7th mile. It's really a very inconvenience for all of us. Imagine, like from 7th mile to Umshirpi bridge, it'll take about 1.5 hours, sometimes 2 hours in the morning and in the late evening, because of the not completing the projects on time. As of now, the roads construction is being on the hold for different reasons, but I would like to urge the government to kindly look into this. Sir, the list, I want to mention about the point in 5.25-27 about the government's infrastructure. Sir, I don't know whether this has been missed from the mind of the government, but the newly created district, the only district of Eastern West Caucasus, which was inaugurated in 2021 on November the 10th. This has been not mentioned anywhere in the budget discussion, in the budget estimate, but I would like to urge that, since the creation of new districts is basically to bring the administration closer to the people, I would like to urge that the government infrastructure in this new district needs a lot of special attention from the government, apart from sanction of new posts and other as well. Sir, with these few submissions, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to take part in this budget speech, and I resume my seat.
Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you for allowing me to participate of this budget speech brought by Honorable Chief Minister. So I have 2-3 points, but only 5-6 minutes. I will be able to complete or not. Please try. Okay, sir. Sir, I'm coming straight to power, which is very important, especially in a rural area. I'm talking about my constituency. Sir, I will just give some suggestion for the government of the day, especially on the leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister and by IT Mandal as a Power Minister, I remember the last few years, last 10 years back, I think, when he was a power minister by IT Mandal. I remember one village, for the last 3 months, which they don't have electricity. It's a name of the village, it's a Thangsling village. So I remember that at that point of time, I called him from my mobile phone. Then within one day, the Thangsling village, they have received the electricity. So now also, he was in charge of power again. So what happened, sir, for the last 5 years, I've seen, and I've raised also, I've discussed with the leader of the house, especially for my constituency, which I think maybe in other constituency also they are facing this problem. I think it needs to be revamped or streamlined, the working system, which the consumer, they are facing a lot of problems, sir. Because the office, they are not given on time of the electricity bill, especially the poor people. And you know, sir, my constituency, out of 100%, I think 75 to 80%, they are the farmers. So that if the department, they are submitting the bill after 7-8 months, once, so it's very difficult for the poor people, the farmers, to pay the bill in time. But the saddest part is, if they are not paying in time, suppose they are giving 1 week, 2 weeks, there will be a disconnect of the electricity. So therefore, I request the government of the day, on the leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister and the Power Minister, Banteidor Mandal, to take this issue seriously, so that my people of my constituency, they will face this kind of problem again and again. This is my submission for the power. Secondly, sir, I would like to come to the introduction. Number 12, we will continue to take steps for permanent solution of the boundary dispute with Assam. We will ensure that the issues are resolved at the earliest and protect the interests of our people residing in this region. Sir, our 50 years of statehood clearly shown that it is not enough. There is a whole list of other factors to be considered. Even after celebrating 50 years of statehood, much of the border areas was unsettled. Our borders region has long been a hot political issue. Our brothers and sisters of the borders areas has been actively battling to gain actual position of statehood. Mr. Speaker, sir, the state as a whole witnessed the terrible crime and uncertainties encountered by our people in the border areas for which they are powerless to stop this unpleasant situation. As we all know, the right of safety and security is a fundamental concern for our citizens. Mr. Speaker, sir, I intend to pay a great deal of attention which deserves serious consideration, and this is for the betterment of mankind and the society as a whole. The government of the day should emphasize the need to ensure the safety and security of our people in the border region. And we have become aware also, sir. Time and again, our farmers in Block 2 are being unfairly harassed by KAAC, the Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council, and likewise by Assam Police. And this harassment does not always happen in Block 2, but in the border of Block 1 as well. Sir, it's a part of a government commitment to set up Meghalaya Special Regiment and to strengthen the force of the police deployed in the border areas, which these issues are for Special Regiment. I've already raised and discussed also with the MDA1. During my tenure as a minister also, I've raised this issue because we have seen our people in border area, they are facing a lot of problem, which recently we have lost 5 innocent lives. So we need to strengthen, or if the government of the day, can we constitute a kind of a special regiment for the border?
Kindly
which
shorten your speech, please.
Yes, yes, thank you. So that, sir, there is, you don't allow me to complete. I have 2-3 issues also, but I'll just finish this, sir. Sir, this is important in order to counter the anxiety felt by our fellow citizens with regard to the safety and security. I quote, sir, "Our land is our domain. We will not let an outsider to squat into our territory." With this submission, sir, I resume my seat. Thank you.